Hi, I'm Deborah from Delphine's Handcrafted. Are you ready to enjoy tons of makes today? Some really cool acquisitions and maybe just a little bit of information about us. Jasmine and I are ready to share. Let's get to it. One of our acquisitions came from somebody we've purchased from before. Last year we went to a fiber festival in State College, which we have a video on that. And we purchased from this lovely lady who does naturally dyed yarn. So her business is called Flora Adora Fibers, and it says naturally dyed. And she dyes all her yarn, obviously, with things from nature. Jasmine has not used the yarn that we purchased last year yet, but it is beautiful yarn and I wanted to support her again. So I ordered online this time, and if you're interested, I will link her below so that you can order also if you want. If you're interested in naturally dyed fibers, check her out. She's such a nice lady. She answered all of our questions when we met her in person, so I'm sure if you had questions and emailed her, she'd probably be able to give you information. So the first yarn we purchased is Sage Plains Fingering. It's 100% Shiniko wool, which is merino, and I'm not going to be able to say it, but it's Rambouillet, something like that. It's 450 yards, 100 grams, and it says 100% U.S. made, fully certified and traceable, naturally dyed in Ohio, hand wash, cool, dry flat. This is in the color Ocean Green and is beautiful, and it's so soft and squishy. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. No plans for it yet, but it is a color that I think we could use with many different things. So we got one of those, and Jasmine's going to share the other one we purchased.
This is Comfort Fingering. It's 100% Peruvian wool, non-superwash, 4-ply, 459 yards per 100 grams. It's in the shade Silver and Gold.
And it's a little more rustic feeling. So the silver is sort of like a light gray, and then there's, what did you call that? Like camel?
It's like more yellow than a camel, but kind of similar to camel kind of colors.
Yeah, and it's pretty true, I think. It's pretty close to what it looks like. It's gorgeous. So yeah, we got two absolutely gorgeous yarns from her. She has so many different colors to choose from and different types of wool. She has some that come from the Native Americans. I'm sorry. I have a tickle in my throat. She has some that come from like Native Americans. I know she's wants to keep everything nice, U.S. made, U.S. dyed, with things from nature from the United States. So check her out, please. I think she's just a really nice lady, and we wanted to support her again. So Flora Adora Fibers is from Ohio, and her name is Sharon, if you're interested. We purchased from a company that we've been wanting to purchase from for a while. They're known for their natural hand balms, perfumes, wool soaps.
They have they sell some sea sponges and like drawstring bags as well, but it's majority like soaps and hand balms.
So where we purchased from was Tuft Woolens. They are also in Ohio. So the first thing we purchased is the soap, the wool soap, and we have not opened it yet, but we can smell it right through this package. It is pretty strong smelling. Oh, and it smells so good. It is a lemony, spicy, sweet scent. It is called Royal Apiary. They have many different scents. If you're interested, go on their website. We will link them. This one is made with the essential oils and extracts, lemon, lavender, lemon balm, and benzoin. And Jasmine's going to tell you how you use this wonderful soap to wash your garments.
Lather the soap under cool running water while filling Sink or washing machine for extra cleansing. Gently rub directly onto the soles of your socks. Soak for 10 to 20 minutes without agitation and rinse.
And it also says you can use it in the shower for yourself. Of course you can, because it's made with all natural things. This is made with olive oil, coconut oil, shea, and castor. And it has lanolin in it, which is really good for wool. So we got Tuft Woolens. Hand soap.
Sock soap.
Sock soap.
They do sell like bath bars as well in the same sense. I almost said shades. The same sense. So
we also got the hand balm. We got 2 different scents and also 2 different ways that they're made. I forget what it's actually called, but I got one that sort of looks like a little deodorant bar. You pop it up, you screw it up. It's a solid. It looks very tiny, but we have had these kind of things before, not from Tuft Woolens, and they do last quite a while. So you just rub it on. It doesn't take much because it is made of the oils, so it will really coat pretty well. Oh, it smells so good. So I chose Tattered Pages. This is 0.35 ounces, and it is a lanolin rich hand and body balm. The fragrance is inspired by old bookshop filled with vintage books, antique bookshelves, and leather chairs. And the essential oils and extracts in this one is bergamot, vetiver, cedarwood, and patchouli. So that's the one that I chose. Jasmine chose one in a little tin that they say has double the amount of what's in this thing that I got.
I got the scent 5th and 57th. See what that shows. Just says it was inspired by leather-bound books, scotch, and vanilla. And the essential oils and extracts are bourbon vanilla, cedarwood, and bergamot. This is 0.8 ounces or 22 grams. And it smells yummy.
And it actually is a little... That's about the 3rd time I've dropped that today. It is actually a little over double the amount because that says 0.35 ounces.
Yeah.
But it is very full. She has used it already, and it is pretty full. You can see it's like to the top. So... these scents are amazing. They have many more different types to choose from. We tended to get the spicy, earthy, maybe a little bit scents, but they have a lot of different kind of scents to choose from. So if you're interested, we'll link them below. We have purchased all these things that we showed today on our own. We don't have any kind of connection with these people. We're not getting anything from it. We just like to share what we get and tell you what we think about it. So if you want to check them out, then we'll click our little link below, or just type it into your web browser and check them out. We have acquisitions from Temu. Surprise, surprise. So the one thing we have gotten in a different color, but we got more of this cashmere. It says it's cashmere, 100% yarn, and it's a 50-gram ball. We got 10 of these. Now it doesn't say what it is, but it looks like it's a light fingering, and we got it in it says color number 18, but it's basically
it's like a navy,
like a navy blue. Yeah, I'm not sure how blue it's showing up here, but it's a navy blue. And with each skein that you get, every single skein, if you get 10, you get 10 of these. It comes with the thread. It says cashmere, also cashmere thread to match, so that because it's a delicate yarn, you crochet or knit with them held together to give it more stability. Very soft, very beautiful. Now, when I purchased these, they were on a amazingly good deal. So sometimes they're more expensive, but if you're interested, you can check out Temu, and I will try and see if I can find the exact link where I got this in case it's still available. They have people, sometimes they're selling, sometimes they're not. So if it's still there, I'll try and get the exact link for you on that. That is the only yarn we got from Temu. We also, I don't know if you can open that. I purchased some. I keep running out of needles. You'll see why here pretty soon. But I decided to go ahead and just get some, what are they called when they're just together?
Fixed circular needles.
Thank you. Fixed circular needles. I've already used them, so the packages are open. These are both, they say Lotus Yarns Himalaya. I got a 2mm and a 2.5mm. They were pretty darn inexpensive. Not expensive. They were pretty darn inexpensive. I will say that I'm used to the Chiagu cords. These are not nearly as flexible, but they're not bad. And I actually have used both of them, both sizes, because I was in need. And they worked pretty well. The needle part is pretty long. What do you think?
5 inch.
5 inches. It's pretty long.
I'm guessing it's a 5 inch.
Yeah.
That's usually what fixed circulars are.
They're very pointy. So I don't know if you like pointy metal needles, but they were very pointy. They easily got into the stitches. So they worked well, and they were, like I said, pretty inexpensive. So they came in time for me to use what I needed to use them for. And Jasmine's going to wind those back up. Did you get that open?
Yeah. Kind of.
I couldn't resist these. The next thing we got from Temu are these little end protectors for needles, and I'm not going to be able to show them really well, but they're little hands. They're just so adorable.
Going like this.
Fit them.
It's going like this. It's a high five.
Yes, giving you a high five.
High
This
five.
one's a fist bump, I guess. A little fist bump. I couldn't resist these. Here we
Peace
got
sign.
the peace sign. And then we got
Another piece. Sign.
another pair. So you can have them, you know.
Matching.
Yes, so there were 6 in this little package. They were adorable, so they have that kind of things on Temu also. The last thing we got from Temu are, they're sort of like little latch hooks. Some of them, one of them is very, very tiny. I can't stand when I drop knit stitches. I have a really hard time fixing them because I can't see well through my bifocals. It just doesn't function. So I have to take my glasses off. I have to get it real close to my face. And then my hands don't want to coordinate. And sometimes I make more of a mess than what it started with. So often Jasmine is helping me with these things when this stuff happens. So I thought these might be helpful because, and it's really nice that they have even the tiniest ones. I don't know that I need this tiny of one. I mean, this is really tiny.
I see people use that size on flat knitting machines.
I don't know. That thing is like so tiny.
People use them on flat knitting machines.
But they are smaller than what I'm used to with latch hooks. So I just thought it might be nice if, let me have the bigger one, that when I try and pull it through that it will catch it. So maybe I'll be able to do it more on my own without bothering Jasmine to come help me. So they were not very expensive either, and I thought I can at least try them out. But that's why I purchased those, not because I'm doing latch hooks. Oh, and the end.
You can put
on that
needles
one.
in it.
Okay.
Tapestry needles.
Maybe this little one will fit in there. That's what we got from Temu this time. So good acquisitions this time. I think helpful ones we needed.
Useful.
That would be useful. Finished objects. What am I wearing? Well, I did finish my Spring Renaissance top, which is a drops design pattern made of Trigo cotton, and I'm not going to try and stand up and show you it all, but I did choose to do a little bit longer, oh, that's not working, a little bit longer sleeve than I think I said last time I might just stop where it was, and I think that was around here, but I did add a tiny bit to the sleeve. I did not do it as long as what they wanted it because I think it was coming down to like here, and I don't like that type of sleeve. I do like the pattern. I think it's pretty. It is a top down pattern and crocheted. This I explained last time, I'm not sure the weight of this yarn. It is made of Trigo cotton, which is a Mexican yarn. It does not really say the weight on it. The pattern, I think, was asking for a sport weight. This is probably between a sport and a DK. I just made sure that my gauge matched, went with that pattern that I could get the gauge with. I made it, I think, bigger than I needed to make it. I would make it a smaller size if I made it again. Sometimes you just got to trust the designer, and I don't. Sorry, designers. It's more of a, I can't stand really tight things. So I tend to say, I know they say there's this much ease, but I need a little more ease. So I make it bigger. But I honestly would have made, because it's definitely bigger.
Yeah, and I don't think like the sleeve would be buckling back here if it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I like the end result. It's pretty. It's comfortable. It's, you know, nice and breezy. So have to wear a tank under it because the white is my tank. Definitely see through. So even though it's an easy pattern to make, as far as making it, you know, the stitches, really simple. The design, any drops design that I have done, looked at, they tend to do things like say you need to decrease by this many stitches, and it'll tell you sort of how to do it, like how many you need per round and what you need to get to, and it'll tell you to do it maybe every 3 rows, whatever. And then it says divide it out and figure out where you need to put your decreases.
Yeah, essentially like evenly throughout the round.
Evenly throughout the round. They don't tell you where to put them. So if you're not comfortable with a pattern that doesn't say this row, go 4 double crochets, then do decrease, then 4 double crochets, then do a decrease. And then it literally spells out for you 3 rows down, go 2 double crochets, then decrease. If you need something that's that specific to help you know when to decrease, drops patterns are probably not for you unless you have somebody maybe help you through it, or you sit and try and figure it out on your own. They do tell you how to figure it out with how many stitches are supposed to be at the end of the row, how many you have in the previous row, that kind of thing, and dividing it out. They do tell you how to do it. It's a little more work though, so if you're not comfortable with that, maybe a drops design wouldn't be for you unless you got some extra assistance. But the pattern itself is easy as long as you know how to do that kind of thing.
Which, if you ever need something like that and you don't feel like doing the math, they do have free knitting calculators online, which you can essentially just like look up free knitting calculator, and it will do the math for you. You can like do specific saying you want to figure out how to decrease evenly throughout a row. But they do have that online if that's ever a thing that you would prefer to just have somebody else do the math for you.
So I will link the Spring Renaissance top pattern site.
Sorry,
they are free patterns and drops.
I said knitting. I meant both.
I will link that below.
I finished my Summer Secret crop top by Jessie Made Designs using the Yarn Bee hand-dyed yarn and amber metallion, and it looks like this.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm gonna show the back.
It's just a crisscross kind of like back. And not my favorite way of yarn pulling, but I also only did it for to wear as like a tank to wear around the house.
I think it's pretty though. I would wear it out.
I don't really wear tank tops out without like jackets or something.
Well,
anyways.
Yeah, I don't either. But like a shirt over top open or something.
Yeah, I mainly made it for something to wear around the house though. I'll put this back there, folded in a weird way.
Jasmine and I both started a new project Once again, surprise, surprise. We just can't stop adding new things, which is why I needed some extra knitting needles. These are the mini mock neck tanks by Jessie Made Designs. We both chose to make one. I started mine. She started hers after mine. She finished hers. I then finished mine. This is the usual way it goes.
To be fair, my size, mine was smaller than yours.
It was, so. And I was working, so yes, it worked out though. It didn't take that long to make. So, do you want to share yours first, or? Now, you made it to your size, correct? This is made with fingering weight yarn and is knitted. It is a paid pattern.
Did we say it's the mini mock neck
yes.
from Jessie Made Designs?
Yes. Now, hers is blocked. Mine is not, because I just finished it today.
So, mine is in Vitellana Silhouette in Sailor's Delight. I didn't have any fit issues with this. It blocked out and fit me perfectly, but I have seen a few people have issues with the this top fabric being too long for some people. So.
And what is that yarn? What kind of yarn is that?
It's
the type of fiber.
I think it's merino. 50% merino or some other kind of wool. I'm pretty sure it's merino though, and 50% tencel
fiber.
So
that has tencel in it. Now, she made it to size, and this is a pattern that is meant to have
negative ease.
Negative ease, yes, meaning tighter. Now,
which I wouldn't really say mine is negative ease, so my gauge might be a little off.
But it fits her very nice. She has worn it, and it fits her very nicely. It's I don't want to say tight. It just fits you. Like it just fits you. It's a form-fitting type of,
And it's cropped. The pattern is a cropped pattern. You can you can make it longer, but it is a cropped pattern.
Mm-hmm. Now, I chose once again to make it bigger because I don't like tight things. So mine is made with Yarn Bee Frosted Galaxy. It's a hand-dyed yarn, and I think it's 100% wool, isn't it?
Yes, it's 100% merino.
Yes, 100% superwash merino. And this is it is not blocked. Just finished it today. It is not blocked. I'll show this side. It's just easier. So it's definitely bigger. It's wider. It fits me looser. I could have made my correct size once again. But I'm actually fine with the way it fits. I don't like tight things, like really like form-fitting things.
Yeah.
So this is fine. It is, I have not blocked it, so I do have a little bit of concern because this is coming, wear a tank under it, and it's coming like right at where the tank is, maybe even a little lower. I'm not that worried about it like this one, because I plan on wearing this under a jacket, but like a work jacket.
Oh, you edited the pattern.
But yeah, it's
modified.
It may stretch down even a little more. So no matter what, I'd wear a tank under this thing. It's just me. So it has a ribbing top and a ribbing bottom. Now, if you look at Jasmine's, it's meant to have this like mock neck here. You can adapt the pattern. She tells you can just do a 1/2 inch of that ribbing, which is what I did at the top. She did. I like this, but I didn't know if I was going to have enough yarn since I made it bigger. And I actually had, I could have done it because I had this much yarn left out of the 2 skeins. So could have done that, didn't do that, but
you could always just
no,
cut it
I
off
am not taking it out. I will wear it after I block it.
I'm just saying that you could, like, you
Yes,
physically could cut it off and redo because the neckline is picked up stitches
separately. Yes, and so it's knit from You do, yeah, it's top down. You sort of, this is an interesting pattern. I don't know if you see it as well on hers.
The back and front are worked flat, essentially. Like this part up until the underarms is all worked flat. And then it's, it is a seamless design. So you don't have to, like, seam anything together, but it is worked flat up until the underarms, and then it's worked in the round.
Interesting thing about this pattern that I don't know that I've seen before is this is actually the back. I'm not sure if you can see this. This is where you picked up stitches. So the seam, shoulder seam sort of, is not at the shoulder. It actually is a little bit down in the back. So, and it's meant to be that way. So if you knit this, if you choose to knit this, and we will link up below, it is a paid pattern. Don't be shocked if your back looks, is it short? Looks
your back will be
longer,
shorter than the front.
Shorter than the front. It just, yes, because the front has this extra piece, sort of.
But I think that the people who were having issues, I think with the front ending up, after being blocked, ending up too long, it wasn't that they're gauged in a match. I think that they were thinking that, because I saw a couple people mention that it might have been because their chests were smaller. So I don't know if that's the reasoning or if it's just different body shapes. But
now
some people did have an issue with it being too long.
Since I used hand-dyed yarn, I did get a little pulling here because when I was working flat, just a little bit here. When I was working flat, I was not moving the yarn, switching off the skeins. Alternating skeins. Thank you, Jasmine. And it pulled a little bit there. As soon as I went from the flat to the circle, just going around the circle, I did the alternating skeins, and it there was no more pulling there. But I don't mind that. It's not a lot. It is in the front, but it's not a lot.
And it's not major.
Unsightly.
Like it's
fine.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah. So if you're not sure what I mean about the alternating skeins, there's a lot of different videos on YouTube about that.
And there are different ways to do it. Like when there are different ways to do it when knitting. I mean, I'm sure there's probably different ways to do it when crocheting, but I think you did a different way than I normally do it. I think you did it all like in one, and I do like a traveling type thing where you like slip 3 stitches.
Yeah, there are different
and
ways
I forget what it's called. There's a name for it, but I forget what it's called. But I think you did it. You just had it like essentially like a seam.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the round.
Yeah. So check that out if you're interested. If you have questions, we can do a little video ourselves. But there are a lot of videos on YouTube about that. It does help prevent the pulling of colors, though. Instead of just using the same skein, you alternate they're the same colorways, but you have 2 skeins that you're alternating each round. You don't ever, they just sort of float. They don't it's not like you're cutting them off every row or anything.
People recommend doing it for like all hand dyed, including like a solid color like this. Not that this is hand dyed, but because it's hand dyed, so there's variations. Even if it's all like dyed at the same, there's variations in the shade, so it will make it like even more even throughout.
But you did not do it with yours.
No, because they looked identical enough that, like, to my eye, that I wasn't concerned. And also, I don't know if that's hand dyed. I don't think it's hand dyed. I don't know.
Yeah, it might not be. That's true.
So here on Franny, I have a sweater that I also started and finished in the time period between podcasts. It's a sweater that I saw, like, before I learned how to knit, like, that was, like, a free pattern a couple of years ago, called the Tricolor Bubble Sweater. I don't remember who posted it, but it, like, was linked to Tumblr. I didn't really look at the actual pattern because there wasn't really any point because it wasn't in my size. So I just kind of, like, looked at the picture and figured out how to make it. So I copied the person's pattern, but also didn't. I don't know. But it's using leftovers from previously crocheted cardigan. It's the Bernat Freesia in the colors Prince, Vapor Gray, and Vanilla. And it's like a bobble stitch, whatever the word is, cropped sweater.
What thickness of yarn is this?
It says it's a bulky weight, but really it was more like which I think this yarn is discontinued. I'm pretty sure, but it's really more of like a DK with fluff sticking off of it.
And is this doubled over the
collar?
Mm.
And it was 3 colors, and I had 3 colors to use up, which I did not use them up. And I don't actually know if it was a folded over collar or not. I just chose to do it because I like folded over collars. I don't remember.
Doesn't Franny look great?
Yeah, but the sleeves are also bobble stitch, whatever it's called.
Started since the last podcast. Jasmine and I both were into starting new things and not finishing old. Oh, well, did finish this. I finished this. And
I finished
yes.
my one tank that I had before.
We got something finished. This is made with the Premier Allure yarn, which is an acrylic polyester alpaca, and it's a bulky 5. We've had this for a while. Pretty much everything we're making is from our stash. We're trying to use some of our stash. Jasmine, this is what you used in your...
I used this in a black color of either this yarn or a very similar yarn from a different company to make a brioche beanie last year.
Yes.
Which was shown on a podcast.
It's a pretty soft yarn. Now, it says bulky 5, but it's honestly probably more like a worsted weight with halo.
I thought DK when I was using it.
Maybe even a DK. It has halo. So the pattern does ask for a bulky 5. Now this is the Friends to Friend pattern by Leslie Friend. So it asks for a bulky weight. So I'm not sort of surprised that this fabric that was made was almost like light and airy, maybe more than some bulky weight that's just straight up bulky yarn. This is a sort of a cape. So basically here you got your neck, which does not act like a turtleneck. It's sort of like just sort of lays, like hangs down. I can't put this on. This is not my size. I made this for somebody smaller.
Do you want me to put it on?
If you want.
I can attempt to put it on.
So it's knit from the bottom up, which is not typical. I wish I had used a different bind off. I might take it out and do a different bind off. Because it actually is a little tight going around the neck, even though the neck itself, the fabric's stretchy, but the bind off, so over a sweater, not great. But this sort of just is, it's sort of turtleneck-y, but looser. But it basically just goes
twisted. So
yeah, well, she's trying to put it over.
I twisted it the wrong direction.
And now you
I like that's what I was saying. It's twisted so the shoulder is on the wrong part, but I twisted it the wrong direction because I was.
So this is made for somebody else. Can't say who in case they watch. But it's just a little cape that goes down over, for winter. But it's a airy fabric. This. You can sort of see it's light and airy. I do believe if I had used a regular bulky weight yarn that wasn't from Halo, that it probably would be a thicker fabric. I actually might make one for myself according to the pattern, and once again it's probably because of the yarn I used, it being a bulky with a halo. Because of the halo, it said I was going to have to use like 2 skeins and maybe even another one of this. I ended up using one of these and a little bit, so I actually probably have enough to make myself one if I want. That's how much I like this. I really, and it may be the yarn that I like with it, but I really like this. It was a very simple pattern. So ribbed at the bottom, then stockinette, and then a little bit of ribbing at the top, but it's
I think my shoulders just might be too wide for this size, and that's why it's fitting weird.
Well, and it actually is made for somebody smaller than her.
Is she smaller across than me?
Yes. So because when you measure for this pattern,
Okay, I'm gonna take
so this, she has a pattern size that goes from 41 to 67 inches for bust. No, it's not just bust. When you're measuring for this pattern, you're to measure, I keep doing this, but I'm not in camera. You're measuring across your arms and across the fullest part of your bust, across both arms, so that you know how wide that needs to be to go over you. That's all you need for this pattern. She tells you, if you, in the directions, if you have a shorter waisted, you know, body, you might want to do some less rows there. If you're longer waisted, you might want to do more rows there, but it's a simple pattern, bottom up.
It is warm.
It's,
Granted,
yeah.
I'm wearing a sweater, but it was warm on the sweater.
And it's, people say they can do this in a day. I did not do this in a day, but if I had done this, I probably did it in the day with breaks, of course, and then another hour. So this is something you can make in a day. And you know, it's small, it's the bulky weight yarn, knits up fast. I will probably make one for myself. It was not for me.
Yeah, and you have more yarn like this.
I do.
So.
And I have another color in the yarn too. So, yeah, I might make one for myself.
Hopefully she'll like it.
So, once again, we'll link below. We will always link what we've done below in case you're interested in doing it yourself. I am going to say this is a finished object, even though I only have one of two. I have 1.5 of two. It is a sock. Jasmine and I both decided to go ahead and do the surprise sock along by Stephen West 2023. The sock pattern is called the Contrast Blast Socks. I did not finish it in time. I would have finished it in time, the one sock, if I hadn't started other things.
Same. I would have finished them both in time if I hadn't started other things, but I started other
Not
things.
sure how I feel about the pattern. It was an interesting knit. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the pattern. It is not blocked. Did I just finish this today too?
No, I think you finished
Maybe
it yesterday.
I didn't block it yet though, so I think it would look better
We
blocked.
don't have the sock blockers to put it on to even like try to make it look a little more.
Yeah, maybe I'll take a picture of this on the sock blocker so you can see better what this looks like. But here is my sock. Yes, there we go. There is my sock. Honestly, it looks better on the foot. This was made with Yarn Bee Frosted Galaxy,
Which is the speckled yarn.
and that's the speckled yarn. So that's this one here. And we used one of the yarns we got in anticipation of possibly using it for our Stephen West shawl, which has not been completed by either one of us yet.
What?
This was for the one that we're still in the middle of doing. So this is the Sheepyshire.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
This is from the Sheepyshire hand-dyed happiness. It was, if I remember correctly, it had something to do with the vampire or something.
It was Dracula. It was
Yes,
a Dracula thing, I think.
It was very dark colors. Loved them all. Just didn't choose them for the shawl. I love using this yarn. It was really nice yarn. It is in the color Merlot. So yes, Merlot, the wine color. This is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it's their staple sock type of sock yarn, and the fingering weight, of course. So the Sheepyshire, they are on Etsy. Not sure if they have their own website, but we got it off of Etsy. They shipped very quickly, and I did really enjoy the yarn. Yeah.
Pattern better.
So I did not put a spoiler alert because this was done as of the end of July. And hopefully people that wanted to do it did it, or don't worry about the surprise anymore. But there's cabling at the top here. It's very, very interesting pattern. There's cabling at the top, and it goes down into these sort of stair step things. Then it goes into, I don't even know what he called these. They look like little bars to me, sort of. The stair steps to the bars. Back to stair steps.
Are you talking about the It's the heel flap.
Now this part here, that's not really stair steps.
It was it's a I forget. My brain's not working.
The
The
heel flap
garter stitch heel flap
was a garter stitch one. Then this
It's a regular
was
heel
just a
turn.
regular heel turn. Then we went back to these stripey things on the bottom, but it is just knit stitches, so that's fine. This is the stair steps still. I really wasn't sure what was going on here for the toe, but at some point he then has you do these. It will show better if the top of your foot, it's like they go diagonal.
It's just
These go diagonal. But I've never seen a sock have this before. He has a ribbed toe.
so
Feels really cool. Don't know what it's going to feel like on my foot walking around in a
it's
shoe.
the color work is like all mosaic. Colorworks are only working with one color at a time. It's all done with like slip stitches and stuff.
Wasn't hard, but you do have to pay attention to the pattern. What I will say is, don't do the first 3 sections and then walk away and forget exactly if you finished the first 3 sections, because then you got to like figure out what line you're on and how many of those rows you did, and then
What happened here?
I lose.
I mean nothing might have happened here. I just feel like that should like weave
Well,
in better.
It did not.
It might just be a pattern
So
thing.
when I
Versus
came back, I knitted this on double pointed needles. I will never knit on these double pointed needles again, making a sock, not my size. They were amazing double pointed needles. We had gotten them from
They're the Knit Picks 4-inch double needles.
4-inch, and at times I had 4 going at a time with a 5th one. At times I had 5 going, so that the stitches weren't falling off, and they were still falling off at times. The needles themselves are amazing. It's just that they were 4 inches, and I struggled with that. So that may have been what actually happened there. When I did the last section, I said to Jasmine, "Tell me if I'm doing this wrong," because I didn't know where my starting mark was on the needle because I'd put it away for so long. And I thought I started it in the wrong area, and that I might have started it like 2 or 3 stitches off. Either way, it turned out the same. It's just that line. What she's talking about is this line is not going straight from here over to
Yeah, and I don't know if
here.
it's meant to because I haven't finished
and
any.
and she didn't finish it. So she said, "I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do that yet."
You
I'm
also
like, "Oh, okay."
Is it possible that you did like the right foot on the wrong?
No, I did not. I did the right foot on the right foot. So
Okay, well that was just,
if you, and I don't have the other one out here, you can do 2 right feet, 2 left feet, doesn't matter. Socks look the same, or are the same. Of course, all socks are going to be
Or
the
you
same,
can do a mirrored
but
one.
it's a mirrored.
Yeah.
I started the left foot, and it will have the steps going like this instead of like this.
So is that the right foot?
This is the right foot.
Okay, I'm just gonna show mine since it's the same project, and this is my right foot. I'm getting confused because of
You
twisting.
want to talk about your yarns?
Well, I was gonna compare the colors.
No.
Like the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you're saying
This
if you
is-
turn it, then it would be.
also a good way to show how our gauges differ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I have no idea if my gauge matches
Plus,
or
I
not.
make a bigger sock. But
No, you made the same size as me. I think my
Oh.
gauge is honestly just tighter than it's supposed to be.
and if you have a bigger foot, so at the bottom, this is just in case you want to get his pattern. I was really confused by the pattern because it said to take this section down to like right before the tip of your pinky toe before doing the toe. But then it said foot section 2. Then he had you doing these plain lines, sort of. There's not very many of them for me. Oh no, I didn't even do them. There's another. I think it's stair step again, and it said take it down no further than the beginning of your pinky toe. And I'm like, what is going on? Now, he puts videos on for these type of things to show you how to do them. And what he said was, if your foot is still long enough, some of you may not even need to do that step 2. I did not need to do that step 2. As a matter of fact, I didn't need to do as many repeats.
I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna need maybe half.
Yeah,
maybe half.
Need less. So you have to pay attention to the size of your foot and try it on while you're doing to figure out how long to make it.
Because this is already like half my foot, so, and toes usually are like an inch and a half.
I will finish the other sock. I will wear them. Not my favorite design of his, but it was fun. It was a surprise, knit along, so you didn't know what you were getting the next week. So it was, I did stay up with him. I just didn't finish that 4th section in time.
So I do not have, I need to look real quick what my colors are because I don't have that project written down in this for some unknown reason. So on my, what are they called?
The Contrast Blast socks.
The Contrast Blast socks. I'm using leftovers from my mystery knit along the Twist and Turns shawl. That was the mystery knit along for last year's Stephen West shawl thing. And my main color is this orange, and it's Old Maiden Ant yarns in the color Put on the Day. And then the contrast color is the green, and it's Old Maiden Ant yarns in the color Kelpie. Mm-hmm. Which I thought about putting in a third color for just like some of the contrast colors to use up the third color from that shawl, but then I decided not to. So
you can wear them with your shawl.
This one's the one that's more finished. So I have up to clue 4 done on this one, and then up to the end of clue 3 done on this one, and then I have like part of clue 3.
Oh, look at this. It's longer DPNs.
It's 1 inch longer.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. I really didn't think it would, but it just does. The whole time I was like, please don't slip off the end of these, and they are really nice.
That's why
needles.
That's why they gave you 6, but you refused to use the sixth one for the longest time.
I couldn't find the 6th one.
No, but you were refusing to use it at first because of the cable. So you were like, I'm using it as a cable needle.
Yeah,
and then you lost it.
I also have this thing where I want to keep working, and I would find myself, even if I had 4 or 5, didn't matter, that I was in I'm going to say active at the time, I would find myself with only 3, and it'd be a triangle because it's like I want more stitches on that needle, and I would just keep going and not think. So yeah, the 4-inch needles, they're very, very nice, but unless I make a smaller sock, I probably won't use them for.
So for this pattern, the way he has it written, there are more stitches than I normally have on the bottom half of the foot. So I feel like, because I have weird feet and my ankles are super slim compared to the rest of my foot leg area, so I feel like this is going to be too much fabric.
I feel like it is a little bit on mine. It feels a little bulky. I'm gonna see what they're like though after blocking. It'll be interesting how that plays out after blocking, because unblocked, it's just like so bulky with all these. I'm
dropping my other ones.
Up here isn't, the stair steps aren't, but
it's kind of like, there you go. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a word for it, but I can't think of what it's called. What this is?
It's like woven, almost like.
Maybe that's the word. But yeah, I like my colors. I like your colors as well. I think mine have less contrast than yours.
You made yours taller than mine because I don't have as many of these as you. So he gives you
choices.
No,
you have more than me.
I do.
Yeah, because I counted yours at one point. Or the same amount.
4 of the.
Then you.
Yeah, you have more.
I counted them at one. Yours is still longer than mine, though.
Yeah, so he gives you options in the pattern. You can stop here. He just tells you, you know, make sure you stop at the end of the contrast color rows or something, wherever you're going to stop to then do the next section. You can make them longer at the top, socks, you know, longer feet, shorter feet, all that. It was an interesting pattern. I still have to finish the second sock, and I will. And you still plan on finishing yours, correct?
Yeah, I'm working. I started working on it again today. I took a break from doing it because of all the other projects I was knitting on, but
unfinished objects. Amazingly, I have less unfinished objects, even though I started a bunch, than I have finished objects. So I will show first my knitted one, which I already had talked about this last time. I had made for my granddaughter, the younger one, the Sylvestries child sweater by Anne B. Hansen, and I made it in like a peachy color. I showed it last time, and I had started my older granddaughter's in this purple color. Now, when I said that I had done a little bit last time, I had gotten like this far, which is why I didn't show it. But I did get down a little farther. I have not honestly worked on it recently because I got started on all those other things. But it's the same pattern as I made for the baby. This one's just going to be bigger and take me a little longer. I feel like, yes, no, that was the right side. Okay. Mm-hmm. This looks much better whenever it's blocked for the seeing the pattern. Yeah, which
is pretty standard for lace work.
So I have quite a ways to go on that one, but I definitely want those two.
Did you say the yarn?
Oh, I forget what that yarn. Baby.
Is it Baby Soft? Baby Delight? Baby
Delight,
something?
I think it is. Yes.
Which is, I'm pretty sure it's discontinued as well. Yeah. I think it was a limited edition.
We still have tons of that left, actually. Mm-hmm. I had made
I'm knitting something
the ponchos for the girls last year. I made something else with it, too. You knitted with it.
No, I never knitted with it.
You never?
I'm just now knitting with it.
Oh, you're knitting with it now.
I had projects planned for it. I just haven't done them yet.
Yeah, this is when they had the clearance at
Michael's,
and we got... these come in really big skeins, so...
it's like I think it's like a 200 gram skein with like 900 yards or something like that. Yeah, it's a DK weight.
Yeah, I have this like balled up the little bit that's left, but it's a lot of yarn in one skein. That's probably half of it maybe. But we're trying to use this yarn up. We don't want it just sitting around. We're trying to use it for something that can be, enjoyed by people. The other thing that I started, because I felt like I needed to do some crocheting to be get away from the knitting a little bit. I actually love knitting. I do love knitting. Sometimes it hurts my hands in certain ways. If I get to like do this kind of thing, which I don't do with crochet, my shoulders are more relaxed. I have neck problems anyhow, so it helps me to have my body in a different position, I think, as I crochet. So I decided to do some crochet. I feel like I finished something crochet. I don't even know anymore.
You did. It was
this this thing. So I decided to start the Latee Sweater by Kira Carnival, and I'm hoping I'm saying her name correctly. Designs. It's in a star stitch. Now this is pretty size inclusive. Also, it's a paid pattern. The bust size that she offers for the pattern goes from 30 to 62. So this sweater is made with a star stitch. This is not going to look like a sweater because I haven't done a lot on it. But it's quick knit. I had never really done or quick crochet. It's worked flat, yes, front, back, sleeves. So star stitch.
Looks pretty.
I have not done the star stitch, I don't think, before actually. It's in a bulky. This might actually be super bulky.
I think it's super bulky.
Yes, this is a super bulky 6, so obviously it's going along fairly quickly. Use a 10mm crochet hook. Got my Clover NP 10mm. I don't know if you can see that. Crochet hook.
This was also bought at the clearance.
This was bought in clearance also. We had several of them. So this is the Barcelona roving yarn, loops and threads. It is a bulky number 6, and I'm pretty sure it's 100% acrylic because there might be some nylon in this. Hold on. Maybe. This is in the colorway mustard, by the way. Why does it not say?
It does say.
Ah, yeah. Polyester. I thought there was something else in there. There's another, there's actually 2 shades of thread here. There's like a thread. I don't know if you can see it. There's a lighter thread that's going through, like sort of wound around the roving type of yarn. I don't know if they sell this anymore either.
I don't think they do because it was on clearance. And most of the most of the time whenever you get clearance things there, it's like things that were limited edition.
So this is 93% acrylic, 7% polyester, but this is how much yarn I have left after making this amount in the star stitch. So it's going to be a pretty heavy sweater. I think it's a beautiful color. The sweater is not like oversized in the body, but has poofier oversized arms.
Is it balloon sleeves?
I'm not sure if you call it balloon sleeves, but it's definitely over. Okay, so they're oversized arms. I have no problem with that because I tend to have bigger arms.
Mm-hmm. Same.
It runs in our family, and when we get things, which is one reason why I don't like tight things. But
it's also like we have broad shoulders, and then adding we have like our family has larger arms, so like it's a whole. A lot of us have fit issues with things.
Yeah, and then I have skinny wrists. I've always had skinny wrists. They're skinny for my size, but I used to be literally under half the size I am now. But
not me. I don't have skinny wrists.
I have skinny wrists and bigger upper arms, so I am perfectly fine with looser sleeves as long as they're not like huge. The picture does not look it. I will link her below, but I'll try and put a little picture of hers that shows what the sweater looks like in the end, since right now it's this rectangle that I have. But I think it's going to be beautiful. The yarn is making a very nice stitch pattern. It's defined. I can tell they're star stitches. I don't know how good it's showing on the screen, but I mean, I think the definition of the stitches are really nice with this yarn. So I think it's going to be beautiful in the end, and it's going to keep me very warm because that is very thick. Absolutely very thick.
What I call balloon sleeves are like the kind that are like essentially like straight down, like loose, and only start decreasing at the cuff, so it's like loose the whole way down and then tightens at the cuff. That's what I call a balloon sleeve.
That's sort of what it is, I think.
I don't really know if that's what it's supposed to be called or what other people call it, but that's what I call it. I don't know where I got that, but that's what I call it.
So that's my 2 unfinished objects.
All right, so
Jasmine has a couple.
I guess I'll start with the thing that I started since the last podcast, since it's not very far along. I'm doing like a self-drafted pattern for my niece for Christmas, and I am using color charts from Alice Starmore's Charts for Color Knitting. And
that's a book, right?
Yes.
Which I think we've shown.
We showed it because who sent it to us? Somebody sent it to us.
Oh, maybe V.
Yeah, I think it was V.
Yeah, Veronica Steele.
And this is, I'm not very far along again. This is all I have so far. But this is this color. I don't have the bands for these because they broke off. So I don't actually know what they are, but I do know that this is one of the like baby is that what we just
Delight. That's what it is.
Baby Delight. So I do know that that's what this is. And then this navy kind of color, no idea. It was one of the yarns that was sent to us in one of the mystery things that were purchased, like was that last year?
Oh, from Line. No, I'm saying that wrong.
I don't know, but it was a yarn from that. So it's going to be an all over color work, and it was fun while I worked on it, but I stopped working on it because I started other things. So I'm going to get back to it.
You had to reconfigure your pattern a couple times to make sure it worked, right?
Yeah, so I started off with a different, so what it is like, it's a center single motif with like a border beside it on either side, whatever. And then it's an all over color work, the rest like of all the same pattern, the rest of the sweater. And the center motif was, I thought it might be, but I decided to do, might be too big, so I decided to do a swatch with it. And it was too big for my niece's tiny frame. It would have been her whole entire chest, essentially. So, and I wanted a border on it, so I decided to change the motif to a different one that is smaller, and it's looking much more proportionate. Still large, but more proportionate to her size.
I'm excited to see what it turns out like.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Both of the yarns are soft and they're both acrylic. I wish I knew what this was. This blue yarn.
Is that one of those one that said like Bastique or something on it? That
No, it was in one of those bags though. It was
Hirschner's.
Was that from Hirschner's?
Yes. It was like a mystery bag.
Yeah, so it would like, it's just, the ball band fell off. We have more of it out there, out in the storage, so I might be able to figure it out at some point. But the ball band came off. So I'm using a Pride and Prejudice stitch marker though. Which isn't relevant, but my next project is the Fossil Frenzy tee from Hunt Hand Knits. Sorry.
Dinosaurs!
Which it is being knitted with another Vitellana silhouette in the colors Misty Dawn and Evening Light. I believe Evening Light is the kind of like really pale pink and Misty Dawn is the blue, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. But last time I showed it, I don't think I had even split for the sleeves. Not 100% sure. But I have added another like 2 inches and I'm starting the color work. So I'm not really far enough along in the color work to show much. Can you hold it up higher so I can pull it down to try to show color work? Again, I'm only like 5 rows into the color work, so it's not really showing much. But it's going to be fossils, which is fun.
Yeah, it's such soft.
Yeah.
Such a soft cloth. Yeah.
So I kept not working on it for the longest time because I was just really struggling I was bored of the stockinette. I was bored of of doing the stockinette. I just wanted the color work to happen, so I decided to make the decision it's not a cropped pattern normally, but I decided I'm going to crop it some so I can start the color work sooner. Plus, cropped things usually look better on me anyways because I'm short, so I'm cropping it. But I'm happy with that, and I'm happy to finally have started the color work because now I'm actually enjoying it again. Which is nice. There are some stockinette things which I enjoy, and then others I hate doing. Next up, sorry, I forgot what I was doing. My next project is just some more socks. Vanilla socks using Hobby's Silly Socks in color number 2. I started them in, I don't know when, honestly, I can't remember. But I'm not very far. Just like an inch and a half past the cuff. I don't know. I didn't make an attempt to make them match, so they're just kind of
funky socks.
Yeah. I'm not really sure. I have not looked at how the striping goes in this sock yarn, but for some reason, there are skinny stripes, and this one's thick stripes right after each other. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm sure it will look
It's
fine.
a silly sock, right? It's
Yeah.
one of the silly sock ones. See,
Yeah, but their silly sock ones all look different.
Yeah. Well,
So,
all the
honestly-
purple ones I've made, I can't remember the name of that colorway, but they've all looked the same.
It's just number, I don't know. This one's a striped one, but I don't really understand how the striping's coming out, but I'm sure it will make sense in the end when I'm sure there will be some sort of rhyme or reason. And my last project, since I already showed the sock along thing, not gonna show it again. My last project is I can't find a zipper. My Doctor Who cross-stitch.
Oh, it's so cool.
I
It's looking so cool.
Pardon me, I dropped some thread. I have a page I just bumped the table. I got a page finish. So I'm just gonna. That'll be a pain to put back on, but it's easier to show if it's not on maybe? Oh, it was attached to a magnet, my bad. I got a page finish. It looks a little wonky because it was on a ring.
Isn't that pretty? So cool.
But I finished, where's the end? I finished this page and I'm working on this one. Yeah. I am enjoying this. I did go a whole week without stitching on it at all, so I am behind on what I normally try to get done. But I was distracted by knitting the tank, the mini mock neck tank, so I did not work on it as much as I should have. But that's okay.
Who knows what comes next? We will probably say we're going to finish something and start something new instead.
Yep.
Who knows? But I personally need to. I do want to work on the Latee Sweater. That will be my crocheted item. I need to work more, and I say I need to because it's not my preference at this point to make the Sylvestries child sweater, but I need to get it done because I have too many ideas to do things for Christmas. Plus, I keep getting told new things I need to do for Christmas that are requested and not my surprise things. So I need to get it done, but I already had made one, so I'm not as enthused about it, but I do need to keep working on it so it gets done, and I'm not waiting until the last minute. So I will not say I'm going to finish that. I will say that I will work on that and make progress on that. Maybe my hope would be to get the part done that has the cabling.
I didn't know there was cabling in it.
The lacy pattern. I haven't done it for like 2 weeks. I feel like it's cabling. Yes, I think so. But it's a lacy pattern.
I don't know.
The pattern part at the top. Before it just turns into all stockinette. So I do need to work on that as my crochet, taking a break from knitting time, or when I just need to do something quick because crocheting to me is quicker than knitting. I'll work on that Latee sweater, and I am thinking, I'm not sure if I'm going to start this or not. It depends on what else comes to my mind to start. Oh, I need to finish the Stephen West sock. That is a definite goal. That should not take me that long. I need to finish the sock so I have 2 socks and things aren't hanging out there and me wondering what stitch I'm on. So I don't have those, instead of stair steps, they look like the labyrinth where the stairs are turning upside down. I need to just get them done. But I'm considering, I actually planned on making this top before
Yes.
I made the mini mock neck. And I saw the mini mock neck and was listening to somebody else talk about the mini mock neck. And I thought, I'll do that one because I already heard about it and I know how it's going to go, potentially. But that's not the first tank type thing that I was going to make. I was going to make the Sailor Swift top. which is another tank, it's called Sailor Swift because she made it in, I think, navy and white, and it's basically just striped. It looks very similar in make.
Yeah, especially because you made yours a crew neck more than a
yes,
neck,
and
so.
I am going to show this. This is different. So I doubt this one's like this. Underneath the armhole on this one, it is like thicker ribbing. It's just sort of different. It's just sort of out of the blue. There's the thicker ribbing. There is some ribbing up the side. You can't see it as easily. But definitely different. I doubt that this Sailor Swift top has this.
It looks like an I-cord edge.
Yes, it does look like an I-cord edge. I'm not going to rush to get this done. If I do start it, I would like to have another tank. I tend to like to layer in the winter, and since sometimes I get hot.
It's a blurry photo. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But it's a racerback shape. It's it says I-cord edges around the neckline and armholes.
Okay.
So definitely a little different around the armholes and the neckline. And it's worked top down, which so was the other one. Sort of similar. Back's worked front. Back is worked flat. And then stitches are picked up for both the fronts. Then they're joined in the round. Very similar to that other one. And I-cord bind off edge. So similar, not the same. And I'm curious because I do like that one, but maybe I'll like this the same or more if I make it. It doesn't hurt to have more than one pattern in a typical,
which this is
also
this is also in a different weight, isn't it? Or am I wrong? Do I remember wrong?
So this one you can make it, interestingly enough, in fingering, sport, or DK. Now this one is from, I'm going to try and say her name. I know that Kika is correct, but it looks like Kutova Kika. It's a Kutova Kika knit pattern. She has a YouTube channel, and she's a lovely lady. I'm subscribed to her.
Same. I don't remember. I said same. I don't remember how to pronounce it.
But she says you can do this in fingering, sport, or DK, and all that it will do is make it, more flowy or more dense of a fabric. So I can choose what I want to make it. I feel like I already was looking at cotton yarns for this.
Yeah.
Because I had actually picked out the yarns from our stash. Didn't go buy any more for this. We did buy more yarn, but not for this. So I might start that and see how that goes, because that other one was a quick knit. I don't necessarily need to get it done, but I am going to be curious on how it fits. Maybe I'll actually do it to the size I'm supposed to this time. See how that goes. Try some new things out in that fashion. Yeah. So that's on my to-do list plan for sure, to at least get started before the next podcast.
And on my to-do list, I want to continue working on my Fossil Frenzy tee. I'm not going to say I'm going to catch up on cross stitch, but I would like to at least continue on the pace that I was going before I got behind, which is 700 stitches a week. I have been fighting off the urge to cast on new projects, so I'm going to try to continue to not cast on new projects, but if I do, it will probably be the Petite Knit Novice Sweater Mohair Edition, I believe is what it's called, or the, if my iPad would work, or the home front jumper from Sydney. How do you pronounce her last name?
Graba, not sure.
I'm not sure, but she has a Patreon that you have to subscribe to get her patterns, but it's a vintage inspired pattern, and I am planning on at some point making it while with the color work from an actual vintage pattern that people call the rainbow jumper. I'm not sure if that's the actual original name or if that's what people are calling it, but I'm going to take the color work chart it's not a chart, but color work, and put it onto this pattern. And so if I cast on new things, it will probably be one of those. Assuming I don't change my mind. There are plenty of other things. Oh, I also would like to start working. I finished a mitten last year, and then I think it was actually at the beginning of this year, and then I stopped working on them because it got hot. Like, it started getting warm, and I was like, there's no point in finishing them. I would like to start them soon so I can get them finished before winter.
So, have you been reading any books?
I definitely have read... I don't think I've actually... I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think I've ever... I don't think I've actually read, like, books, like novel books, since the last time we filmed. I know I've read a few mangas, but I couldn't tell you which ones. Some of them were definitely Spy Family. There were more than that, but I couldn't tell you which ones I've read since last time versus before. But we've both done this, watched the Dungeons and Dragons with drag queens. I don't know if that's what it's called, but I think that might be what it's called, from Dimension 20.
Mm-hmm. And then I also have been watching, you watched some of it, the Dimension 20. It's the Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to call it like Clue. That's not what it's called. It's called Mice and...
It's Mice and Murder? Mice and Murder,
maybe.
Which it's like Clue or / very much character is Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. So the these are being watched on channel, what's it called?
It's like a subscription service, kind of like Netflix, except it's Dropout TV from College. So like, College Humor. Is it called College Humor?
I don't know, but it's like young comedian type people, and there's a couple different shows on there. There's one that's changing the game. It's called something like that. Where the game changes all the time, and when they start to play the game, the contestants don't even know what the game is. And they have to learn by playing. They have a couple different things on there. It's not very expensive. And, I've been enjoying it.
Yeah,
I've needed some humor in my life lately, so.
I enjoy watching people play games. I don't always enjoy watching people play Dungeons and Dragons, because some people, I like it whenever there's a certain kind of storyline or chemistry between, like, characters, and sometimes I find it more boring than others, but all of the ones that I've watched of theirs, I've enjoyed. So
I'm going to call it the Clue, the Mice and Murder, whatever it is. I like that. We did start watching another one that I was like, I don't know about this, but maybe I just need to watch a little more. The ones on the Mice and Murder one, their chemistry is pretty good.
I loved the drag queen one.
Yeah, the drag queen, that was a really good one, and a good storyline, really good storyline. So yeah, if you want to check it out, it's called Dropout
TV. It's pretty cheap, but they have good content. And also the Dungeons and Dragons, they give content warnings below, so if you're like grossed out by anything or have triggers or whatever, they have content warnings in the descriptions. Yeah. And timestamps with the things, so you can skip it if necessary.
That was something new. I had never heard of that before, but Jasmine was getting some ads. I get ads
for it on Instagram a lot for it. Not for Dropout TV, specifically the drag queen.
Yeah, I think that the Dropout TV gave me like 5 days free or something to try it. So if you're even interested in trying it, then there was a few days free, and then it charged me if you don't cancel. Remember to cancel. So many things offer free days, and then if you forget to cancel, you get charged. I've been listening to / reading The Firekeeper's Daughter by it's Angeline, is it Boulay? I don't know.
I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm probably halfway through it, a little bit over halfway through it.
It's a really pretty cover.
Yeah, it's beautiful cover on it, and it's has Native Americans in it. It's really interesting. Sometimes they actually use the different Native American languages in it. I'm guessing, and I need to look it up, and I'm assuming the narrator, the person that's, because I'm listening to audio, she sounds like she knows exactly what she's saying, so I'm assuming she either knows these languages or is Native American. I'm sure she's not all the languages, because they use more than one in there. Just in bits and pieces. They always use like the English version afterwards, so that you know what was being said. It's woven in really good. Yeah, it seems like it's culturally making sense, sort of. There's comments made about things that I know have happened in history, so that seems appropriate. There's some sly comments made. This is a young lady. Well, it's more than just a young lady. There's a bunch of young people in it, but it's considered a young adult book. But I'm enjoying it. It's different than maybe something I would have chosen. It was recommended, so I decided to try it, and I'm enjoying it so far.
It's been on my to read list for. I think actually since it came out, I have put it on my TBR, but I have like 300 books on my TBR, and I just never get to all of them. I just keep adding more, and I'm not reading them at a fast enough pace to lower it. It just keeps getting higher. So I'll eventually maybe get to them.
Yeah, there is crime in this one, so if you're not into that kind of story, you wouldn't be interested. But yeah, I am enjoying it. I am definitely enjoying this. Sometimes it's just good to try out a book that you probably wouldn't have chosen.
Yeah, and you did you say you were reading that because of Nitty Natty?
Yeah, on the membership. It's one of the books of the month.
Okay. Yep.
The other one was Stephen King. Not so sure about that.
I don't like
one.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Not my kind of cup of tea. I read part of The Green Mile, and like that was like the only one that like was vaguely interesting to me, and I think that was only because I watched the movie.
That was a great movie, but
yeah, it was a good movie. I don't love that kind of style of I don't love the style that he writes in, but I also don't love like that kind of content in a story. It's not I prefer really happy things. I like reading happy things.
And I can't use that as my reason, because I'm once again reading about major crime.
Yeah, you're like, and I also avoid watching, like, I literally look at the end of books I don't know anything about, I don't like look far enough in to know what the plot line is, but I essentially look at the last few sentences of a book to determine, does this seem happy, like a happy ending, or at least like a moderately we're okay, we're not great but we're okay kind of ending, and if there's anything remotely sad in the last few sentences, I am like, no, I will look up the plot, and like I'll look up like the summary with more context to see if it is happy or sad, and if it's sad, I usually choose not to read it. Usually, I do the same thing with movies. If I see a movie that sounds like it will be sad, I avoid watching it. I get enough sad content from everyday life. I prefer not to. I like being happy if I can. So I choose to read happy books.
We hope that you enjoyed our podcast, and we tried to go into a little more detail about what we've been making, and if you're interested, definitely check out the information below so that you know where to go find these for yourself if you want to do these patterns, or purchase yarn from, or things that we might have purchased, or check out like the yarn supplier. She has a lot of different yarns, and the soap and hand cream Tuft Woolens. Yeah, so we hope that you had an enjoyable time. If you did like our video, please put your little thumb up and share it out to other people, and please leave a comment below. we really do enjoy the comments. I do want to mention again the comments that were on our giveaway video. I loved reading them, and they've come in, even more have come in since then, about the games that people play and how they're very similar experiences, you know, their controller stick. The comments just kept coming in even after the giveaway was done.
Oh, and she posted, like, one of the giveaway winners posted a really lovely video.
Yes, and so and I haven't noticed if the other one posted a video. They can if they want. It doesn't matter. But it was just so sweet. You could tell that she was so happy, and if you're out there watching this now, hi, we really appreciated your video probably as much as you appreciated receiving what you received from us, because the joy that you showed in that video brought joy to me as I watched it, and then I came home and showed it to Jasmine and she watched it. It is nice to know that we were able to make somebody happy and give somebody something that they could use and appreciated, and it's going to go for a good cause. So I will mention her below also, and she has a channel and she talks about what she does, and she actually donates these things. She wanted cotton because she makes things and donates them. So that is one thing that I would like to do in the future, is shout out some of you ladies, and if you have channels, if you want to email us and tell us a little bit about what you'd like us to say or something, I would gladly do shout outs. We don't have tons of people that are part of our channel right now, but there's a couple hundred. They don't always make comments, but maybe somebody is listening that isn't already subscribed to you, and even if not, we love to shout people out. It just brings me joy to do that kind of thing. So if you would like shouted out, send us an email, make a comment below, do something. I just need to be able to find your channels easily. And also, I can't always find your channels easily, so sometimes I may be thinking I want to find you and watch you, but I want to make sure that I'm on the correct person's channel also as I'm doing that. So we appreciate all of you. If you enjoyed our video, give us a thumbs up, share us out if you are, wanting to, and please keep coming back. We enjoy having you here, and we enjoy reading your comments afterwards. Everybody take care and have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.